What have I learned most since the pandemic? A few things. It's really important to question the information that you are given. They shut down society for 2+ years. And honestly, as time is coming out, as time is happening, more information is coming out, there's a lot of incomplete information. I think there's a lot of good intentions. People lost their lives. People did get sick. It was real, but was our reaction towards the pandemic in proportion? Was the reaction in proportion to the threat? I think we overreacted as a society. Just my personal opinion. It was real though. People did get sick. People lost their lives. But, shutting down school for 2 years, I don't know if that was appropriate. Like, there was this mass hysteria. I remember one time I was walking on the road. This was outside, more than 6 feet apart. I walked by this old woman. She's on the same side as me. And she walks on the other side. She walks on the opposite side. And she's like, "You're not wearing a mask." This was outside, lady. There was mass hysteria. But you know what? There was a shift during the pandemic. I had an accelerated growth in the pandemic. Luckily, I was employed during the pandemic. I stayed employed the whole pandemic, but also that's when I started to post onto TikTok, and I started to supply a service on TikTok by taking people's long form content and creating short micro clips. And I was able to create a service around that. And then I met some great people off of TikTok. We moved to Miami, and the rest is history. So looking back at the pandemic, there will be powers that be that can control your fate, that can control and make decisions for you. Now you got to play by their rules. You got to play in between those rules. But there's still opportunity for you to grow, to go get after it. So there was a big shift during the pandemic. And honestly, I'm on the better side of it. It was one crazy time though. We're 4 years past the pandemic. And I look back and I'm like, wow, that was a really great time. One of the positives of the pandemic was, I remember we ate dinner every single day together as a family. That was the first time in years because, I was in different places, you were in different places, Tommy was in different places, our parents always worked, so we didn't have family dinners quite often. But during the pandemic, we had a family dinner every single day, and I think a lot of families probably had a similar experience or a shared experience because we were quarantined. A lot of people caught up on their favorite Netflix shows. The Last Dance every Sunday night was a collective experience where the next day at work everyone's talking about that episode, and that was a really cool experience. So there were some pros, I think, out of being quarantined.